So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane, it's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it, I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. I take shots to the top, I'll get it. I got one life, I'ma do all the winning. gonna look back, 'cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change, slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
All right, y'all. Happy Friday. You made it through another week. Welcome back to the show. August 8th, 2025. Another week in the record books. We are green on all of the indexes this morning. Maybe we have a little better day today than we did yesterday. We've got a couple of interesting headlines to look at here and some earnings from yesterday to talk about. We'll get into those as time permits. Let's take a quick look at the screener here and see what is popping here in now that the market is open. American Rare Earths up 47%, ticker ARRNF. Spruce Power Holding up 32%, SPRU. Safe and Green back in play again. This was one that has been moving this week. Ticker is SGBX. And of course, SOUN, SOUN, and that was one that had earnings yesterday. Let's look at SGBX and SOUN first. See if we got anything interesting to play around with today. SGBX back up in pre-market, 27 cents to 45, down pretty considerably from a couple months ago, but look at this volatility over the past couple days. Not really something I'm interested in spending a lot of time focusing on this morning. Let's look at SoundHound up 23% on the day. That big pop coming when they released their earnings yesterday. Let's pull that up here real quick. SoundHound, where you at? SoundHound reports record second quarter with all-time high, 42 million revenue, up 217%. We love it when revenue is going up. We love it when revenue is going up. And they are communicating. Company raising their full year outlook. A global leader in voice AI today reporting, today being yesterday, financial results for the second quarter. CEO says that many of our previous strategic moves delivered high impact results with growth across every business unit. We realized significant new wins as well as cross-sell deals, demonstrating the incredible opportunity we predicted with our 2024 acquisitions. Revenue, 42 million, as we said, an increase 217%. Gross GAAP gross margin, 39%. Non-GAAP gross margin, 58%. GAAP net loss, 74 million. Non-GAAP net loss 11.9 million. Adjusted EBITDA was a loss of 14 million, and GAAP earnings per share a loss of 19 cents. So what we have here is growing revenue, but still some struggle in posting profits. Let's take a quick look. Nice curve there on the revenue chart. Net income. I'm looking back a few quarters here. A big negative, a big positive, and now we're looking at still a negative. 19 cents negative on the GAAP earnings. Free cash flow still negative. They still have a negative operating margin and a profit margin. So this is still one, if you're thinking about investing in it, you've got to make sure you understand what is the growth plan. Let's see how they're looking for cash and cash burn. Since they are still losing money, we got to dig deeper. Cash and cash equivalents, 230 million, holding relatively steady. Total current assets, 282 million. Current liabilities, 58 million. That's fine. Total assets, 579 versus total liabilities, 219. That is also fine. They're going to have positive shareholders' equity and positive working capital. On that cash balance of 230, looking at their operating cash flow, negative 24 million. Not too bad. So I would say that they have plenty of cash, it appears. Let's we should probably check CapEx. It's tiny. All right. Have they been diluting at all? Let's see. Shares. Over the last year, the share count is up from 332 million to 400 million. And if I go back another year from that, it's up 160 million. So this company has been diluting. That's also something that you would want to pay attention to. So maybe for me, an interesting momentum trade. I'm not sure I can give this one my full green stamp of approval for long-term hold. They still got some work to do. But it has been a retail darling from time to time. So worth having on your radar if you're a swing trader, if you're a momentum trader. Or maybe some of y'all are long-term believers in SOUN. 93 cents back in 2023, up to $25. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Let's hit the old refresh here. We got on the U.S. indexes, the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ all in the green. Russell 2K and the VIX red. European markets mixed. The Asian markets were mixed as well, with the Nikkei in the green. 10-year Treasury, 4.275%. West Texas crude, 64.19. I think that is down for the week. Let's see, what was the recent high here? On the 5-day, 67. Let's go back a little more. So we go back to 7/29, July 29th. It was at 70, at 64 right now. Gold this morning at 3,482. Silver at 38.55. Let's look at the 1 month on silver real quick. I saw the some of the metal stocks were moving yesterday. It's been on a nice little uptick since the beginning of the month, not quite back to the highs of late July. Still on the 1 year chart. looking beautiful. Silver. Let's see what we got in presidential news. Trump's Russia deadline is set to expire with tariffs at stake. A White House deadline for the Kremlin to agree to a ceasefire for its more than 3-year invasion of Ukraine expires on Friday. A line in the sand about to expire. Trump has threatened that Russia's energy trade partners could feel the sting of secondary tariffs if a truce is not agreed. The sanction-sapped economy in Russia heavily depends on its crude sales, with growth expected near 1.5% this year. Markets watching whether the White House will proceed with steep penalties on Moscow's oil clients. That is something definitely to keep an eye on in the news today. What else we got here? Earlier in the week, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff traveled for an 11th hour meeting with Putin, which Trump hailed as highly productive. Everyone agrees the war must come to a close, and we will work towards that in days and weeks to come. Let's see what happens with that. We got an article, maybe I'm not going to read this one just yet. How Tim Cook convinced Trump to drop Made in USA iPhones. Remember that headline? What was it, a month or two ago? Apple, you got to make a phone in the USA. This one is more interesting to me, why it's so difficult to manufacture in the US. I find that topic much more fascinating. Gold futures climb to fresh record after report of U.S. tariff move. What do we got here? U.S. gold futures surged to a record on Friday after a report that Washington has imposed tariffs on imports of 1 kilogram bullion bars, widening the spread between New York futures and spot prices. The spread widened to more than $100 on the futures market after the Financial Times reported that the U.S. had imposed tariffs on the gold bars. All right, another stock. We talked about SoundTown briefly. Pinterest also reported earnings yesterday. That stock is now down 10%. It was, yeah, it's still down 10%. I see it on the upper screen here. This was news after the market closed on Thursday. Pinterest stock falls 10% after earnings miss. The company beat on sales but missed on earnings per share. Sales in Pinterest's second quarter grew 17% year over year, while net income was $38.7 million, up from $8.9 million a year ago during the same period. That's a nice, healthy net income increase. However, the stock is down 10%. Let's keep reading here. Third quarter sales, according to the company, will come in between $1.03 billion and $1.05 billion, topping analysts' estimates of $1.025 billion. Here we got Bill Reddy, CEO of Pinterest. Okay, analysts had expected 35% adjusted EPS that came in at 33. Analysts had expected 975 on revenue. It came in at 998. So there's our beat on revenue and a miss on earnings. $578 million global monthly active users in the second quarter, ahead of the 574 million that Wall Street was projecting. Let's take a quick look at that chart. This is SoundTown up 26%. Let's flip over to Pinterest. Let's zoom out just to get a lay of the land. So the high in the last 2 years was 45 bucks. It's trading around 35. If we zoom back even more, back to the heyday in 2021, $89. Remember those days? But it's been hanging here around what? 40 to 30 bucks for the last year. SoundTown, RKLB, Pinterest. Here we go. Bill Reddy says we are excited that Gen Z has grown to over half of our user base. Do you guys use Pinterest? Anybody? Anyone? I do not. Not really. I think the wife does. Check it every now and then from time to time. Comparing revenue trends, this is nice data here. Up 17% on revenue. Very healthy year-over-year increase on net income and adjusted EBITDA. Let's look where we can see some charts here real quick. Dink says, no, don't use Pinterest. Sethan, what's up? Also, no. I think Pinterest, is that more of a ladies thing? Almost every chick I dated, well, I'm obviously married now, but the only people I ever knew that were using Pinterest were women. Revenue trend. What's not to like? We got a nice trend up. Let's keep digging. Net income to common. We get a little more spotty there. That's tougher to like. Not on the top. This is why I don't own Pinterest either. We're looking for growing revenue and growing profits. And we got a hodgepodge here. Hard for me to get on board with this. Not super exciting. Gross margin high, operating margin negative, profit margin is only 3.8%. Free cash flow margin 19.7%. Cash and cash equivalents holding steady around 1.2 billion. Balance sheet, quick look, 3.5 billion current assets versus 400 million current liabilities. Total assets 5.4 versus total liabilities 591 million. Balance sheet's in good shape. They need to fix their damn net income. Operating cash flow 207 million. Free cash flow 196. I mean, it's not horrible. It's just spotty. YOLO Ono says women also like OnlyFans. Dan, what percentage of the young ladies out there right now are you hearing are using OnlyFans? You're admin for OnlyFans content creator, aren't you? Oh, wait, no. That's TikTok. My bad. But you should talk to her, Dan, about spreading her wings, so to speak. Ba-dum-bump. Snap. We talked about Snap earlier in the week. Another app that I don't use. Snap. Did it recover? No. It got spanked a couple days ago. It got spanked a couple days ago and it remains in the basement. Speaking of in the basement, there's an Eminem movie playing at AMC, and I am upset to report it is not available in my area. I'm going to check again. Stan is the name of the film. Stans. Nope. Not available. What? I mean, come on. Austin is not a small city. Why do we keep on getting the short end of the stick here on these special release movies? I got nothing all weekend. No stands. I am looking forward to seeing Weapons. While we're talking about movies, I'm going to put the AMC chart up here just for a second. And keep in mind, we have AMC earnings on Monday. After the market closes, I will be live streaming that just to see what they got to say. Everybody's on pins and needles, all sorts of predictions out there. Break even, loss, profit, what's it going to be? Chart has been in meltdown mode for almost a month now. Although we did have one green candle finally yesterday. Weapons is high on my list. A horror genre movie starring Josh Brolin and Julia Garner. Julia Garner, you probably know her from Ozark if you're a fan. For the ladies out there, we got, and maybe the younger generation, we've got Disney Freakier Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. Not high on my list, but for the kiddos, we got The Bad Guys 2 and Sketch. Also not high on my personal list. And I think I've seen just about everything else. So I'm kind of bummed that I'm not going to be able to see stands this weekend. Maybe if I drove to Dallas, but that ain't going to happen just to watch a movie. What is this other one? Strange Harvest. We got one showing the entire day at 9:45 at night. Another horror movie. Detectives are thrust into a chilling hunt for a sadistic serial killer whose murders mark the beginning of a new wave of grotesque, otherworldly crimes tied to a dark cosmic force. Ooh, that sounds like it's right up Scarlett's alley. She likes those strange occult crime horror movies. She likes podcasts too. She keeps on telling me, Tony, you need to get into doing podcasts. She'll be driving home from work, listening to crime podcasts, stop at HEB, grab some groceries, then come home. Can you come help me get the groceries? I know it's only 2 bags, but I'm scared. I've been listening to crime podcasts. You'd be amazed what people are capable of. No, I wouldn't be amazed, honey. I get the comments on my channel every day. Smooth Operator, good morning to you. Good morning. What do y'all think is going to happen on Monday with AMC? There was some discussion I saw going on in the Discord, in my Discord yesterday, about what's going to happen between earnings on Monday, the proxy statement on October, and the vote in December. Just to lay it out as I understand it, there's going to be a vote. Reading the debt documents, there's going to be a vote in December asking for more shares in some fashion. And the first hint that I know of that we'll get what that vote is going to look like will be early October. And then we'll find out. I think it's really not worth discussing other than knowing that it's coming, because I don't know what it's going to look like. But October should be our first insight, although there are some of us that are curious, will executive management on Monday go over the wall and explain what might be coming? Will they give us any hints? Will they talk about accelerating the Go plan? And a lot of that also is going to be tied into other questions that we're watching. Did the company make profits in Q2? Did they make operating cash flow positive or free cash flow positive? I don't know. Way too damn close for me to call for Q2. So timeline-wise, though, I think October is where we're going to get our... that's going to be the hot button. But maybe we get some news tomorrow. Monday. Bader, good morning. Ben says, are you seeing what's happening with Rocket Labs? Yeah. Rocket Labs, I have it here in the top left. It had a big jump from 44 up to 49, now trading back down around 44. Let's put it on the big screen, make it a little easier for y'all. And I do have the tab open to talk about their earnings, but we haven't made it that far yet. We talked about Pinterest, and we talked about SoundTown. Still on my list to chat about while we're here briefly this morning is Rocket Labs and Block, ticker XYZ. We had a nice spike in Rocket Labs this morning. We'll make it over there and talk about that in just a second. YOLO Ono, yeah, let's finish talking about movies real quick, because I was griping that the M&M movie is not in my area. Just kind of like laying out my weekend plans. I try and see where can I fit in movies and what movies am I going to fit in. It looks like it's the Julia Garner movie. And maybe this other horror movie, Strange Harvest. I really don't like when they only have one showing in 3 theaters, one showing the entire day. That really puts a cramp or a crimp in my scheduling, because I want it to be at my convenience, not theirs. But at least there's an option. All right, let's check in on GameStop, our favorite ticker that everybody's wondering, when is it going to get moving again? GameStop stuck in this channel now between the demand and supply zone for the better part of a year. I know there are pumper channels telling you it's going up and to the right any day now. I don't do that to you guys. We're not here to pump GameStop like I'm some rabid Bed Bath & Beyond fan. We are better than that here. We're going to talk about intelligent entries and selling into run-up so that we don't get kneecapped by the company issuing more shares or convertible debt. Just have common sense. There's nothing wrong with being bullish about GameStop. But we don't need to come on here 5 hours a day and feed y'all full of hopium. I do like GameStop trading down here at these lows. I like it even better between 1990 and 21.5. I don't know if it'll get there, but on the daily, we're on the weekly here. We have the 50 simple moving average above the 200, but on the daily, going the wrong way. On the daily, the green line heading down to meet the candles. So we need to see something happen, but I'm okay if nothing happens, because I'm not here telling y'all every day for 5 hours that it's about to go up. Hey, if it chills here for a while, that's fine. Look back at the last couple years of how the stock trades between July and November. It generally trades down. That's, I think, good to know, so that you have some sense of zen about what's going on right now. It's not unusual. And then we hope for a good earnings beat when we find out in early September how the company's Q2 went. That's my hope. That's my hope, that we have a Q2 beat. So yeah, Yolo Ono says, it is strange there hasn't been any summer blockbusters. Man, I'm worried about Q3, frankly. Dan, Ms. Ono. I'm worried about August and September. They're scraping the barrel for movies, but they're stacking up in a few weeks. In a few months, the Q4 is going to be on fire, I think. Q4 is going to be the bomb. We gotta scrape our way, as you say, through the remainder of Q3. All right, we talked briefly about AMC. We talked briefly about GameStop. I want to check in on our other little retail darling of the moment that everybody is so in love with. And that would be Quantum. I'm not advocating that you buy Quantum. I sit here all day watching stocks, and sometimes I want to know, what is everybody interested in? What is the flavor of the moment, and why? Retail psychology. I think it's good for you guys to become students of it. Especially if you're swing or momentum traders, you must become experts in retail psychology. And this stock is on the way back up 7.5% today, despite having no revenue. You might ask yourself, why? What has driven this stock from $3 to $27 despite no revenue? Social media focus. A reverse split that dropped the shares outstanding to 2.9 million. I think now it's 3.8 million. They haven't updated the shares outstanding, because I just was reading the company's earnings release. The shares outstanding are 3.8 million, not 2.9. There has been a considerable percentage increase in the float, and that there were warrants being exercised, convertible debt being exchanged for shares. That is what caused this push down. And that is what, when this thing was going up, I was telling you guys, pay attention to the warrants and the convertible debt. Expect a share count increase. That's the smart thing to do from a company or a lender perspective. Pay some social media promoters, which we know they were paid. That was disclosed by them. No problem with that. Pay them to pump the stock, dump your warrants and your convertibles, pocket the profits. The price will tank. But everybody, it tanked from 38 to 16 bucks, but now it's back up on the rise. It's a very tightly controlled float, tightly controlled by retail traders, and it is expensive to short. So, interesting story here. A lot of times you see the shorts come in and try and attack these things. It's very difficult for them to do so on this stock. I do not think that this momentum down here was particularly because of shorts. I think it was a lot of added selling pressure from warrants being exercised and convertible debt being exchanged. Once that was done, people are buying it again because of the social media aura around this stock right now. It'll be an interesting one to watch if you're a fan of psychology. How does a low float, tightly controlled float stock hold up despite no revenue? And why do I keep saying no revenue? A lot of stocks, I harp on that point because I want you to understand and make sure it's hammered clear into your heads. I think my core audience already gets this. When there's no revenue, what ultimately happens? How do companies pay their bills? Taking on debt or selling shares. And that one day you wake up and there's a news announcement or market close and you get that news announcement and then you get the big spike down, boom, that big red candle. So just something to be aware of. I don't hate quantum. And against all odds, it's holding up really, really well. Just understand what you're trading. All right, Rocket, who is pumping that? Kevin Malone, YOLO Ono. You can find him on Twitter. He is a GameStop promoter. He is a fiduciary. He's got some licenses, although he will be quick to tell you when he's talking about quantum and Genius Group, GNS is another one he's paid to promote. He will be quick to tell you he is not giving you financial advice. Do your own DD. And I will say again, I respect Kevin for being honest and doing the disclosure like you should. If there ever were a day where I was paid to promote a stock, I would do the same thing. I would put it out there. I'd take all the daggers and arrows. To date, nobody has ever paid me. Therefore, you've never seen any disclosures from me. Although you see a lot of the little Yipper accounts saying that I'm paid. That is not the case. I wish someone would pay me, but I'm smart enough to know that I need to disclose it. And Kevin's done a great job for quantum. Getting that stock price moving up. And he's this company has pulled every trick in the book to bring retail into this play. By trick, maybe that's a bad word. They've pushed all the hot buttons. DRS, buy some crypto. They even bought GameStop. You name it. Any hot button item, file a lawsuit against those naked shorts. They did that. They're pushing all the right buttons to get people that are interested in naked shorts into this play and diamond handing like their life depended on it. I'm very curious how it ends up. GNS is another one that Mr. Kev is promoting, and he got that one to run too. Kudos to Kevin. 34 cents up to $1.90. Came back down to 83 cents. The company announced, this little company, Genius Group, a negative revenue company with a market cap of 88 million. I think it's probably higher than that because they are bringing more shares on board through the acquisition of one of their companies that they spun off. They're bringing it back in exchange for shares. I think the market cap is probably slightly over 100 million, but they filed 1.2 billion in dilution potential cash raise that they'd like to do. That's pretty massive. The stock got spanked after they did that, but old Kevin's working hard to get people to become believers in Genius Group. YOLO Ono says, we all know about that pumping. Yeah, I never really saw, Dan, any evidence of paid AMC promoters. If they were paid, and I'm not saying there weren't some, maybe there were, none of them disclosed that. So either nobody got paid, Dan, or there's a couple liars out there. I don't know what. But it was not me. I wish it was. Rocket Labs earnings this morning up 3%. Let's check the news real quick before we wrap up. Rocket Labs announces second quarter 2025 financial results, posting record quarterly revenue of $144 million, representing a 36% year-on-year growth, while expanding gross margins 650 basis points year-on-year. All right, we'll get to a bigger look back on their financials in just a second. Let's see what they want to crow about here. Rocket Lab founder and CEO Sir Peter Beck said the company has delivered impressive gross margin expansion and another record revenue result this past quarter, driven by our strong operational performance and program execution that has us on track for a record year of launches and spacecraft delivery. It's been a busy quarter of M&A activity as we have progressed our acquisition of Geost, I don't know, strongly positioning ourselves to meet the needs of defense initiatives like the Golden Dome with end-to-end mission solutions across launch, spacecraft, and now payloads. Business highlights for the quarter. Blazin, what's up, amigo? How you doing? Put another shrimp on the bobby, Blazin. I know you're in Canada. It's just a joke. Dan, tell them all about it. Successfully launched 5 Electron missions across the quarter, including 2 launches 2 days apart from the same launch site, a new record from Rocket Lab Launch Complex 1. New Electron launch contracts with international space agencies reflecting the strength of the company's global reputation as a trusted launch provider for both the U.S. and its allies. And confirming that the Complex 3 launch Complex 3 is on track to be completed and officially opened in Q3 2025, just right around the corner. Right around the corner. Moved into production of the company's $515 million constellation build of 18 spacecraft for the Space Development Agency's Tranche 2 transport layer. Guidance for the third quarter. Revenue between $145 and $155 million. All right. Revenue between $145 and $155 expected for Q3. GAAP gross margins between 35 and 37%. GAAP operating expenses between $104 and $109 million. Adjusted EBITDA loss of $21 to $23 million. So what do we got here? The same type of situation that we were looking at on SoundHound. Throw another beaver on the maple syrup. Tell me again, Blazin, what are those is it a beaver tail? What are those pastries that are very famous up there in Canada? No PE ratio because they have no positive earnings. Market cap 21 billion. Revenue looking good on Rocket Labs. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe how about net income? Not so good. You know, I hate it when we got one beautiful chart and one not so beautiful. We're looking for the turnaround story, and we're not turning the corner just yet. But if you are a deep researcher on Rocket Labs, or if you're an investor in Rocket Labs, you should be deeply studying to see if this chart is going to turn around. Look at the shares outstanding growth in the last 5 years, 75 million to 505 million. That's what happens when you keep losing money. And we don't like to stand in front of that. It's okay for me to swing trade or momentum trade these stocks. I don't want to be holding them for the long term. I don't. I would rather take my chances. If I believed in this company, if I wanted to be a long-term investor, I would really, really be trying to study and determine at what point are they going to turn the corner. And you want to get in right before that quarterly announcement. Until then, I mean, you're playing with fire. Playing with fire. Operating and profit margins and free cash flow margins all in the negative 40%. Not so hot. Balance sheet. 564 million. Current assets, current liabilities, total assets, total liabilities. Balance sheet is okay. Where's the money coming from? Is it coming from stock as I expect? Issuance of common stock. Yep, sure is. Their cash burn is not huge up here, only negative 23, negative 54, negative 2, negative 30. That is, you could take some comfort in that, but they are raising a lot of money by issuing stock. A couple things to think about. Blazin said the pastry that Canada is famous for is indeed called the beaver tail, and he has never had one. Blazin, that would be like me saying, I live in Texas and I've never had barbecue. Or I've never had a breakfast taco. What kind of, how are you going to rep your country and tell us you never had a beaver tail? I need you to go this weekend and fix that post-haste. I need a report by Monday that you did indulge in the calorie-dense sweetness known as a Canadian beaver tail. That you ruined your diet just for us. I am, speaking of barbecue, Dink, I am way past due on getting some barbecue. It's been a while. I've been chicken breast, salmon, chicken legs, you know, the thigh and drumstick. I've cooked up some hamburgers also with the ground beef. What else I've been eating? I'm past due for some barbecue. And I have not done my August shopping yet. I'm just about to clean out the freezer and go restock. We might need to kick off with some homemade brisket. Maybe some Brazilian cuts also. And maybe I'll add a couple of ribeyes into the mix. A man can only eat so much chicken breast and salmon. GameStop down 0.5% this morning. Quantum up 6%. GNS flat. Let's look at our other little meme stocks that some of the other smaller channels are pushing. Finger motion trading at $1.40, up just under 1%. G-Bucks got crushed yesterday. Well, it's been getting crushed for a while, but it is trying to rally this morning, up 16%. And Railtown, even though the pumpers of this stock have been telling you for a month, you're never going to get it below 65 cents again. Buy at any price. Buy now. 60, 65, 70. Hurry up. All aboard the Railtown. You got to be better than that, guys. You got to be better than these pumper channels. 49 cents. 49 cents. This is what I cannot stand about these people. They're telling folks, they're literally telling people, you can go look who's pumping this stock. They are literally telling people, sell every stock you own and buy Railtown immediately. I mean, it is unfucking believable. They were saying that at 68 cents, 65, 60, 57, 55. Sell everything you got and buy Railtown immediately. What is the fucking hurry? This is a no revenue company, a penny stock. It does trade under the ticker RAIL in Canada, blazing. It is a gamble on a potential acquisition of AI partnership, but I see no need to tell everybody to sell every stock they're holding and pile into this stock. I can only see one purpose in telling people to do that. And it's not going to go well if I say that out loud. Read between the lines. What I have been telling people is that if there is no news announcement, it's Friday. If there's no news announcement this week or next week, whenever we eventually get it, the trend is to stay between the demand zone and the supply zone, to at least maybe go down and try and retest this new demand zone, which used to be the old supply zone. Maybe you get a little bounce here around the 50 moving average, which would be right around 47 cents. If it pushes below that, you could see a retest of 40 cents. Now, the company could save any degradation in the price by dropping news. And I think if they drop that news, there's no certainty. If they drop that news and if it is what people want to hear, then I think you got a chance of a good pop on this stock. And that is your gamble. You decide if that gamble is for you or not. I'm not here to push penny stocks on you like these other people, literally telling folks to sell every stock they own and put it in this one. There are literally people that own hundreds of thousands of shares of this stock, and I just pray for them that this goes the way the promoters of this stock are telling them it's going to go. I pray that happens. There's a reasonable chance it could get a pop-up, but there's also the possibility that the deal doesn't go through. So all I'll say is own your choices. I don't want to hear anybody crying if it doesn't go as expected. And if it goes better than expected, then I will pop champagne right along with all y'all. So that wraps up our retail stocks. I can't wait to hear the update from G-Bucks, not a company I'm recommending. This company is heavily promoted by some really egregious pumpers on Twitter. You can search for $G-Bucks on Twitter and find out exactly who is pumping this. They've been bullish. They've been bullish, guys. Been bullish since $5. Every day telling people according to their work, it's bullish as it bleeds out. When are people going to learn? There's no fucking naked shorts in this stock. The volume's like, look at these volume days, 15,000. Think there's naked shorts on this? Nobody fucking cares. No one cares about this stock. It's getting run down because people are selling and it's thin liquidity. The company says they're acquiring a gold company. I don't know how, seeing as how they have no cash. They have no net income. They're in default on their debt. I don't even know what the story is, why anyone would be talking about this stock. But hey, when you get a good run, play it. 38 cents up to $10. Hey, we'll take that all day long, but you got to be smart and get out. You got to know what you're holding. You're holding a piece of dynamite that is going to blow up. And stop listening to these goofballs that are telling you they're bullish on this thing. At some point, news will come out and it will get pumped again. But there's no redeeming qualities about this company or this stock at the moment. And I don't know what to say. I don't know what is wrong with people. I don't get it, ladies and gentlemen. Blazin says, I'll stick to my Mag 7 10 to 20% gains. See, Blazin, that is what I love. I know the Mag 7 is getting overpriced, overbought, blah, blah, blah. But what are we dealing with here, Blazin? We're dealing with companies that have a long history of growing revenues and growing profits, and we love that all day long. You're smart enough to know to take a little bit off as they go up. And you are also smart enough to pay attention to the economy and what is going on in the market. And you're young enough that you have a long-term outlook. And when you're buying solid companies with growing revenues and growing profits over the long term, if you've got a diversified basket, you're probably going to be okay. I'm not advocating any of y'all become day traders, swing traders, momentum traders. We got a lot of those on the channel. We got a lot in the Discord. It's fun. It keeps our day-to-day interesting while we're long-term holding solid, profitable companies. It's just a little bit of side entertainment. These blue chip companies, hey, they're pretty boring. Pretty boring to have a multi-year outlook to get 10, 15, 20% gains. But we're okay with that. And I hope one day you learn to be okay with that too. Doesn't mean you can't have fun. That's what I sit here every day doing. But manage your risk, manage the size of your trades if you're dabbling in the fun stuff. I don't want to see you blow up your account, your life's hard work, your family's nest egg. I don't want to see you blow it up on speculative trades. Dabble a little bit. If you choose well, you get some portfolio boosting returns. And if you don't, you didn't blow yourself up. That's all. All right. It is 9:30. We've been going about an hour. I'm going to go ahead and take a break here, grab some breakfast, and we will check in with y'all a little later. Have a good one.
By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. Fuck the shorts, we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going long. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the short we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the short we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share.